Hello?
Hello.
Oh, you are there. Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'll be right back once I can.
Oh my God.
Apparently you're still too loud.
I turned it way down already. Anyway, I'll be right back.
I love computers.
Yeah.
Just when stuff like that can happen and you're like, what? Why are you so
should have heard
loud?
him. You should have heard him before he turned it down.
Windows decided to install 57,000 things, and
One of them was
broke your settings.
one of them
One
was
of the-
volume. What?
I don't know, dude.
It installed volume.
couldn't tell you what happened. It's a lot of stuff.
This one goes up to 11.
Oh gosh. First we should say hello, Michael. Hello, JJ.
How you doing, friend?
Hello.
My left arm is hurting from all the AX Wi-Fi that got injected in it today. So, I'm just wondering if I'll get tired and narcoleptic during this podcast, or if it will last until afterwards. We'll see. The fatigue from the booster, you know.
Yes. So I went through that over the weekend as well.
Yeah,
I had no effects whatsoever when I got mine. It felt like I got a shot, and then my arm was sore, and that was it.
I'm hoping
So-
for that. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah.
I would take-
Which one did you get, Andy?
I went for the pure playthrough, all three Modernas.
Okay.
And I think
Seems-
I mixed and matched since I did J&J before. This time I had Pfizer because it was the closest and available.
I generally why I was planning to end up with that I got, but I walked into Target today and there was no one at the pharmacy, and I said, "Yo, you got any of those boosters?" And they said, "You want one right now?" Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Correct answer and correct reasoning.
So that happened. I didn't want to get it over Thanksgiving just in case I had the reaction I had last time, which was, a day of fatigue and chills. And so speaking of Thanksgiving, did everyone have we had a break. We had a week off. We just hopefully everyone comes back. Let's say.
Yeah. If you're still listening, welcome back.
If you're still listening, welcome back. It gets better at this time of year. We get crazier, I think, as the times get crazier. It's going to be a weird time of year. It always is. We went pretty traditional on Thanksgiving feast, as it were. It was not a feast per se because we had just the two families together. So it was kind of a normal sized meal with a 12-pound turkey in the middle of it.
It's not exactly normal there, but
Yeah, sure. But the normal green beans and potatoes and that stuff in the midst of that week, and two terrible football games that we won't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And JJ and I
yes.
were able to meet up in Sonoma with friend of the pod Sean and family, and we were able to taste some fantastic vodka in Sonoma, in wine country.
I was going to say, that's not what I expected you were going to say.
Vodka made from grapes.
Vodka from grapes, yes. Kind of strange, right?
You can make vodka from a lot of different things.
So interestingly, I thought it was... Is it gin that you can make from anything? Oh, but I guess maybe it was vodka you can make from anything.
I was going to say, I think it's vodka.
One of those doesn't matter. But yes, this was vodka from grapes, which is usually obviously some kind of grain, which is kind of crazy. But they had flavored ones and regular ones. The flavored ones were strongly flavored, and they were very tasty.
Very good, except for the one that tasted like Dimetap.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was weird. They had like a blood orange, and
I
it
think it was
tasted
Mandarin orange. I think you had it right the
Mandarin
first
orange.
time.
I
Yeah.
had it right the first time. It tasted like Dimetap. Yeah, we were all sitting there thinking of it, and I was like, "What's that medicine that you used to take?" And that somebody said Dimetap, and that was it. That was the answer. Anyway, uh, that did not border on food crimes. But unless either of you ran into a food crime over Thanksgiving, we have a submitted food crime through email that
Oh,
I was not planning on doing until I read it. I was planning on doing it as the email bucket, but then I read it and I thought we might need to talk about this.
strong enough to stand alone, huh?
Um, yeah, yeah, it might stand on its own. That's for sure. Pizza.
What is it?
We're off to a start when I say pizza. This is a place called 163 in Connecticut. So we're gonna shout them out directly, and people can decide to go there or not go there, right? On this menu, submitted by Alex to our email, thank you very much, is the King. And I will read for you the King right here. There's normal stuff on this menu. Like their greens is like a Caesar salad and a house salad. It's a pizza joint, right? And it's got normal pizzas like shredded chicken with bacon and all, like the fancy normal pizzas, things you would want, right? And then there's peanut butter sauce, smoked bacon, caramelized onions, and mozzarella, drizzled, and this is why I thought it fit very well for Thanksgiving, with cranberry jam.
So this sounds just like a reimagined peanut butter and jelly.
With cheese all over it. It's a pizza.
Yeah.
I think the concerning part here is like I've had like teriyaki chicken pizzas with peanut sauce before, and those were kind of okay, but not like my favorite pizza. But sure, someone
is it,
likes
the
this.
Thai-
It's just not me.
Thai chicken
Thai
pizza
chicken.
from CPK has had peanut
I've
butter
had
on
that
it
one
before.
before.
Uh-huh.
I've had that one too, and it's like okay, not my favorite ingredient. Usually the peanut sauce. I like the peanut sauce in noodle dishes, just not in with pizza. I think the thing that pushes this over for me into crime is that I don't like cranberries, and why are you putting the cranberries on here, man? You're making it worse. Stop that, please.
It's funny that we have to take it as it comes, right? We can't be like, well, I like this and I like that. Like you have to take it as the whole. The crime
you get
happened
it
or
you
it
get
didn't.
You don't
right?
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
going
don't
to give
know.
it the benefit of the doubt.
I was gonna say I would
try it before passing judgment.
right. This is what I'm saying. We need to play the tape. That's if we're gonna judge a crime, there's evidence here. Maybe we need to play the tape. And Michael and I will fly to Connecticut and try this pizza. Or make one.
I mean, we could.
I wonder if I wonder if somebody's done one of those like look-alike. If this place is famous, which I assume that it is, or at least semi-popular, it probably has like a look-alike. Yeah, here's how to make it at home, right? Maybe
You'd think so.
Maybe we need to make the pizza.
I see. Like, I think if you take this same pizza and you just remove that cranberry, you put like balsamic on the onions or something.
Oh, I don't think there are any
end.
onions on here.
That's
Peanut
what I'm
butter.
saying. Like, do like some balsamic, glazed onions or whatever.
I don't know. That's
And I think I'm in for that. I'm not in for this though. I don't want this. This sounds not good.
This is a good submission because I think the court is in limbo. This is a hung jury on this one. Because that cranberry could be great or it could be bad. It could be real bad. Especially if the peanut butter sauce is a big question to me. In my mind, when I read that, I picture somebody slathering peanut butter on the crust. But that could be not
Probably
it.
not how it is though. Yeah.
Yeah. But what are you mixing it with to turn it into a sauce?
See, 'cause I literally can't separate this in my mind from like the peanut sauce you get on like Thai chicken and stuff.
Well, that's why I mentioned the Thai chicken pizza because it's peanut sauce, right? Not peanut butter sauce. Although it kind of doesn't matter as long as you blend the. It's peanut butter as long as you blend.
Well,
the peanuts, right?
you make peanut sauce with peanut butter.
Yeah.
The Thai version.
Well, the Thai version's made with like is that made with like some kind of milk?
There might be like curry milk or something in there.
Coconut milk.
Coconut milk or
Coconut
something.
milk
but
is what I was wondering.
I think that's what I've made it with when I made it in the past is coconut milk.
It's usually
But I don't-
sweetened.
It doesn't have to be, but I would expect it to be sweetened if peanut sauce was going to be on a pizza.
Interesting. I wonder if you put some sort of umami in there. Give it that.
Balsamic onions.
Yeah, that would
See,
cover that
now
umami.
I could see you making like a white cream sauce, like a typical white pizza sauce,
Oh, yeah.
but then mixing peanut butter into it.
Sure. Yeah, you could do that. Why not? There's no rules on pizza anymore.
I mean, we lost JJ at pineapple.
Yep.
JJ got off at the wrong stop. That's all I have to say.
Did I?
Should have gone a little further, my friend.
I think just a little
I mean, I was
further.
I was on board with most of this pizza until they threw in cranberry at the end. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this looks pretty good. I just like, I just can't with cranberries, man. That's just me. I'm not here to say other people can't enjoy it or
how
that
did you
it's
make
not
it
that it's
through?
automatically bad. I just don't like cranberries.
So Thanksgiving you don't, which we just left. You don't partake of any cranberry?
Nope.
What is your cranberry of choice for your family? Is it the can or do people make it?
We typically cranberries are hard to find this year, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
We had that trouble last year.
We had the trouble this year, but no one wanted to make them, so we didn't have any this year.
Okay.
But in years past, we have done both, like whole, someone made a cranberry dish and the jellied can one. There's never been like a set one. My sister loves cranberries and loves specifically the look, she takes it in whatever form, the cranberries come, she will eat them. But when we were younger, it was all about the jellied ones. So we would sometimes have both.
Yeah. We made our own with Grand Marnier, I believe it was, and brandy in them.
Okay.
And they were hand done, hand mushed. They were fantastic. Best cranberry sauce I ever had. I'll never eat it out of a can again.
Y'all do the yams with marshmallows on top?
Yes,
recipe?
they sure do. They are, like I said, it's a traditional.
Yeah, we did it growing up.
I could take it or leave it. People are very invested in it, other than me, and I don't mind eating them. But
right, sure.
I wouldn't make it on my own, sort of deal.
I'm just always happy to take the dark meat turkey that apparently people don't want, and they're all fighting for those white pieces. And I'm like, give me the dark ones. Let's go.
I gotta find the picture of a friend of a friend of the pod, whose wife was sent to the store to buy a large turkey because they were having a large, safe outdoor gathering, safe as it could be, I guess. That is a lot of cranberry on this. I'm looking at this picture. Okay. How big a turkey do you think she came home with, guys?
He was told to buy a big one.
For how many people?
They had 18 people.
So
Adults.
I know you can get more than 20-pound turkeys.
Sure.
So I'll say 20 pounds.
Okay.
I'll go higher. I'll say 22.
42 pounds.
What? Where do you even get one that big?
I don't know, but apparently she's vegetarian. The woman that was sent to the store to get a large turkey for 18 people and bought a 42.
So no idea of what a single portion size of.
I have to track down and send you the picture of him, the husband, eating the turkey leg that is the size of the turkey that we served.
I think cutting that turkey up would be its own logistical nightmare.
Cooking it. Can you imagine how long?
Would it even fit in my oven? I don't even know if it would.
I don't know.
Maybe just
This menu has
It
fried
would
Oreos.
break
We
the
didn't.
racks.
Did we make it down to the bottom? This menu has fried Oreos on it.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it
what
does.
I don't know how to feel about that. Moving
Fried
along, we got to get away
Fried
from
Oreos
some-
are fair food in my mind, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, but they're still delicious.
We got to get away from this food thing and talk about some stuff we might have done over the break. I don't want to get too into spoilers here, but Dune is a good movie.
I agree with you.
Michael, did you have a chance to watch Dune?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Michael, you have read Dune.
I have, and recently.
JJ,
Uh-huh.
this movie ends. Let's say, how do we say this in a non-spoilery way?
Not
Movie
where the book
opens with
ends.
Dune Part 1, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
It's in the first 2 seconds of the
Uh-huh.
movie.
Let's say Paul has found his way into some new teachings.
He's made some new friends.
Yeah, Paul has made some new friends. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how far it gets into the book. In 2.5 hours. And Michael, I have a lot of questions because they leave a bunch of stuff out of from the book
Okay.
to get there. Did you watch the Honest trailer? Please tell me you didn't.
Oh no, I did not.
Okay.
Intentionally, I avoided it.
So one of the questions in the Honest trailer that I actually have for you because of the books is, can we do this without being too spoilery there, JJ? I don't know.
Ask the questions. I mean, I have also read the book,
I have not.
whatever,
So
but
the reason I'm asking is because I haven't read the book in probably 20 years, maybe. I read it when I was like 15, I think. And I believe I should read it again because these answers are probably in there. But there are some things in that movie that don't make a ton of sense. Maybe?
Okay.
Like, why does anybody bother with personal shields? When all the weapons are designed to go through the personal shields.
So that does get discussed in the books, and part of it is that the people who are coming to Dune don't know how useless personal shields are on the planet.
Okay.
right, because part of and again, I don't know if they explain this in the movie, but the shields call the worms.
Yes.
So if you have a shield on out in the desert, you will be attacked by the worms.
Yeah. Also, every weapon in the movie that they show you, including bombs from space against shields on ships, the shields never do anything.
So some of that is the way they again, I can only speak to what they talk about in the book.
That's what I want to know,
I-
right? Like, because it's left out.
And there's a really big thing about the shields, which is why they're not so. We talked about the worm stuff. There's another really big thing about the shields.
The las guns.
Why no one shoots lasers when there are lasers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the answer is if you shoot a person with a shield with a laser, a nuclear bomb goes off when the two hit each other, basically.
It creates a fusion reaction, I think is how they describe it.
I was going to ask
And
about
yeah.
that and why the entire Atreides army only has swords in the future.
And also like they talk about like projectile throwers, I think, in
Yeah.
the book.
Yes.
So like literally crossbows, essentially, or like weird guns, essentially. But the shields are built in such a way, and again, like that they will stop anything moving fast.
Yes, that's
so, like,
explained.
They talk about this in the movie, right? That whole scene where he's fighting with the with Gurney, and like they're kind of showing you have to move slow to get through
Yep.
the shield.
Yep.
And the shield turns a different color and all that. Yeah.
Right. So like if you shoot a gun at someone, it's not going to work because the bullet's fast.
Well, but that's not entirely true because some of the things in the show hit the shield really fast and then stop and sort of burrow through the shield as they stick to the shield.
So that's something that is built intentionally to do that, though,
Yeah.
right? You can't just like load up a normal gun and blast someone; it won't work.
Yeah. I guess it just feels like you're wearing body armor and everybody's shooting uranium bullets at you, in a way. Sometimes in this movie, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're kind of like, well, I could be 5 pounds lighter with this body armor on.
Michael, do you remember, do they ever go into like the stuff about the shields and why the Fremen don't not because of the worms, but like how the Fremen fight differently because of not having shields?
Uh,
Am I thinking too far in advance?
I don't know if they go. I mean, they do talk about it a little bit. And there are a couple of different scenes that I can remember in the book where they describe the fights and their style of desert adapted fighting. But I don't know if they relate it specifically to why they do or don't use the shields.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna explain the way that I see it, and I don't know how, if you're super sensitive and you haven't and you don't want to read the book and you want the movie not spoiled, maybe don't listen to this question. The way I see how this was laid out, and then maybe you can explain how the book makes it seem like actual intrigue instead of not intrigue. Because I don't remember. I remember all these things happening in the book, but I don't remember them being so boring. The Emperor has sent the Atreides to take over this planet from the Harkonnen, right?
Yes.
Ostensibly, to the outside observer, it's because Harkonnen has too much money. To the inside observer, it's because the Atreides have too much political power. And he's setting them up to fail on the planet somehow. But everybody that is an Atreides already knows that it's really a trap. And that they're likely to be attacked in their minds surreptitiously, which obviously happens early on in this story, but also probably not surreptitiously. And everything on the planet is that they're given is broken, so they're going to try and monetarily fail. Their planet, I can't remember the name of it, Caldera?
Caladan.
Caladan. Is like their stronghold, but they have to go there and leave their stronghold, but they can't bring enough people to be like a full army. Okay, that's the setup. We already know the Emperor's going to betray them, probably, or not help them, and the Harkonnen are going to fight them. If not also the Fremen. How is it at all a surprise to anybody in the universe that then everything happens the way that it happens? And how is it at all a secret that the Emperor's army is also there?
I think this is one of those cases where the characters through whom you are viewing the story are in a small group that are in the know and not necessarily representative of the general knowledge that would be held. Right, you're following all the members of House Atreides who all know that this is a trap and their closest advisors. So everybody who's in the circle that you're watching in this story is all going to know.
But the information is given out as if everybody knows, right? And it sounds like even in the book, everybody knows. And they talk about in this movie for half a second the Landsrad, and they never mention it again.
Yep. So I was going to say the dimension that's missing here is in the book, they talk about this like balance of power between the Emperor and the Landsrad, which is the like council of all the great houses. And there's this like feudal honor code or something between them where like the emperor can't openly move against any of the houses. Otherwise, all the houses would feel threatened and gang up and destroy the emperor. So everything has to be done via like subterfuge and plausible deniability such that no one can ever say the emperor was involved. Otherwise, like NATO would be called in and everyone would go destroy the emperor.
And there are even rules for that, right? Like there are rules about assassination and how you can kill people, and it is all very structured.
And the key important piece, which I don't know that they explain in the movie, is that there are no satellites around Dune. So information doesn't get out of Dune unless physical people bring it.
What?
Right.
There's what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there no satellites around
Well,
Arrakis?
that the answer to that starts to get spoilery.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really explain that, and also, but you would think that there would be satellites on near the Sardaukar planet or the Harkonnen planet, or like just the idea that in space with these giant things that take millions of dollars, as they say at the beginning of the movie, to move between space, between trips. It costs, the Emperor's, herald or whatever, millions of dollars or to move across the stars to hand him a letter that said, go to Arrakis. It's like, okay, well, how does no one know that how does anyone in the Landsrat also not know that they were sent there for a trap?
I mean, they may know, but they don't care, right? Because there's nothing untoward being done here, right? The issue is like legal deniability. And the emperor can say, well, I didn't do this. I would look, none of my people were there. It's the Harkonnens killing the Atreides. Not my issue.
Wink, 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 wink.
Right.
Seemed in the movie, at least.
And there's been a known feud between those two houses for like a long time.
Sure.
Right? They explain that in the movie.
Yeah. But it just seemed so in the open in the movie, I guess, that it was just like, how did A, these people get caught with their pants down, and B, no one else want to come help them?
So I don't, without having seen the movie, to know how much it gets built up, the nature of the betrayal that goes on that catches them unawares is such that everyone in House Atreides thinks that what happens is an impossibility. And they spend a lot of time in the book talking repeatedly about how impossible it is that this thing could happen.
Yep. Additionally, the Thufir, the older man with the weird eyes and the lips.
The Mentat.
Maybe they never talk about that in the movie.
Yeah, they never. They literally. I mean, there are Mentat in the movie, 2 of them.
Yes.
And they just. They
just name them as people, and you don't ever hear like anyone say Mentat stuff.
This is a Denis Villeneuve-ism that I actually somewhat enjoy about his filmmaking. Is that he'll see something like that in the source material. He did this with Blade Runner, right? He'll just leave it. It's like, you don't need to know what a Mentat is. Like you can figure out from context that this person is like a human calculator, right?
Yeah, and they ask him to like, how much did that cost? And he like rolls his eyes back for a while and spazzes out and then answers some like super precise number. Yeah. You're like, okay, this dude's like really smart.
Same with the Bene Gesserit. Like there's hardly any explanation. There's much more time given to them than the Mentat, right? To explain Paul, but they're only in there to explain Paul and not really the whole like surreptitious plan. They tell you about it, but they tell you about it in a minute.
The thing I was going to say is that the advice that Thufir, the Mentat, gives the Duke, Duke Leto, is that oh, we probably have a few years before this betrayal comes because they're going to have to do all these things to move all these troops and whatever. So we got a few years. We can probably fix all this and like, get ourselves situated in a good place in a few years. Obviously,
They had
it was not a few
not a
years,
few
and
years.
things had already been in motion for a long time, and that's the like surprise. But also, the book doesn't even treat the betrayal as a surprise. It like tells you who the traitor is like way up front early before the betrayal happens.
That's fine. I I don't know how people can be that dumb in that kind of a universe, like especially in this situation. The whole like, well, you promised me. It's like, come on, bro. Like, really, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
That part has, and that's not the movie's fault, right? Like that type of writing always bugs me, where like the victim the betrayer is actually the victim, and they're doing it for love or whatever, and that just never. Wouldn't you go like, well, this is a problem. I should probably go tell Duke Leto so that they can help solve it. Otherwise, that person's dead anyway. I guess not. I guess that's bad assumption on my part. I don't know. It's just not. It's very clear who betrayed who and who is attacking who and who is helping who in the movie. None of it is unclear. But they make it so clear that you're kind of left to be like, well, why is anybody surprised by this? Howard, you know.
So again, and Michael made a point that the person who is the betrayer is considered so impossibly above reproach for a bunch of reasons that are not explained in the movie at all. But like it is considered a physical impossibility that this person would be able to betray you.
Nice.
And as such, then there's a bunch of the book is spent like people assuming that Lady Jessica is the betrayer because it couldn't be the other person. There's only two people. It had to be one of them.
Right.
Right. And that actually is started as a rumor deliberately by the Harkonnens to sow more confusion.
This is why I ask the question, because I'm sure the book spends more time making this actual intrigue in the space operatic style that it is, right?
Yeah.
Some, you know,
I do agree with you, Andrew, that I think a failing of the movie is that they didn't spend enough time on the space politics because they wanted to show a cool, epic story. And they had to move along with the plot because there's so much plot.
There's a
that
lot
they
of
couldn't
plot.
Give it time to
two
the cool space
2.5
politics.
hours, and they didn't quite make it halfway. I don't know what else you're supposed to do. I mean, he builds a beautiful, beautiful film. I don't know what else to say about it other than that people, if they liked that book, maybe should watch it, and people that don't know anything about the book should definitely watch it. It is every bit of I don't know what you call it. It's an immersive thing. It really is.
Yeah, the sound and the visuals and stuff it just does such a good job of building a place that seems real and that this story is happening in that you believe, even though like on the face of it the story is super ridiculous. It's like, oh, space feudalism and there's giant sandworms that are the size of buildings and like people are running around like shooting like swords. It's like, this is insane. No one would like but it totally seems reasonable in that area. It's like, oh yeah, there are no computers and these like lights float around next to people. Don't worry about that. There's space travel. Yeah, it's fine. And you're just like, yeah, okay, sure, it is fine. You're right. Man, that looks cool. It's like,
I think that's why he
does such a good job
Yeah.
of telling that world and making that, like I kind of liken it to the Lord of the Rings movies where like they do such a good job of crafting that world that like you see that world that way now. But unfortunately, unlike the Lord of the Rings movies, they told a good self-contained story in each one of those. This one, less good at that.
I don't know who greenlit that thing. That's what I want to know. Who looked at that script and was like, "You're going to end it where?"
The shocking thing to me is they greenlit it and then said, well, we don't know if we'll let you tell the rest of the story. You're
Yeah.
like, you green light that, and you go, well, maybe we only make half of it. LOL, who cares? And you're like, what, dude? What are you doing?
I couldn't believe that hearing that story and being like, the I don't know what else to say other than the huevos, on that executive.
I guess, or like, is the executive just cowardly for not greenlighting the whole thing up front when it was obviously going to be this like huge, gigantic cinematic thing? I don't know if it made like a ludicrous amount of money. Probably not.
Who cares? Who
But
cares?
yeah, it's so like the that because that novel has famously been adapted several other times or attempted to have been adapted many times, right?
Mr. David Lynch,
Is
fan of the
the
podcast, I'm sure.
the famous David Lynch version, which Michael or Andrew, if you guys haven't watched that again recently, you should go back. That movie is something to see.
I don't know why you wouldn't. There's also the I mean, the reasons to watch it are many, right? It's not just the David. I mean, Patrick Stewart's in that thing.
He charges into battle holding a pug.
He sure does.
Great movie.
Hmm.
So anyway, the David Lynch movie is very different from this one, I'll say. But like famously, there was that whole Jodorowsky's Dune thing where like he's been attempting to make this movie for 40 years or however long it was, and it never came out. The book is considered unfilmable because of how much ridiculous stuff is in it, and you see why, right? Like when you watch that David Lynch movie, the like first half, it gets to the point basically where this movie ends and everything is fine, and then the second half of that movie is just like a blur of like stuff that makes no sense whatsoever, and like the movie falls apart, right? Where they wisely spaced this one out a little bit, took the first half and said, we'll do this other half later.
You end
But-
up with a lot of weird stuff in this being a half movie. Like Chani is not even a full character.
Barely in it, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe that 2000
Like-
era TV series Dune is good.
So I have seen that multiple times, and I think that 2000s era series is pretty good.
Yeah, this is actually good.
I don't know.
There's not much to say
Yeah.
about it other than that I really thought that the scope and the scale they decided to make it in was very shockingly impressive.
I really liked the like, what is it? The Emperor's soldiers. Whenever they
Sardaukar?
show up, whenever the like Mongolian throat singing comes on, you're like, oh no, someone's about to die.
Dude, they're-
You hear it's like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, right, Andrew?
people did die. There were they were bleeding people. Did you see that in that scene? Yeah, that was crazy. No, the best part of the movie is my pet peeve actually, because this movie was scored by Hans Zimmer. And Hans Zimmer is I'll complain about this when I talk to Kit next on the sub podcast. So tune in for part 2 when somebody who actually cares about soundtracks as much as me listens to this complaint. But Hans Zimmer is my nemesis. Every single soundtrack he ever does, he takes the most seminal moment in the film and he rips that piece out of the soundtrack and sells it separately. So like in The Last Samurai, the last charge of the samurai, that's a separate piece of music. In Interstellar, when the ship is spinning super fast and they're trying to dock, that's a separate piece of music. And in this film, JJ, what in your head sticks out as the most prescient piece of music that you can think of? I bet you can name
Is
it.
it that Mongolian throat
No,
singing
it's
one?
not the Mongolian.
Oh no, it's the choral. It's the choral one, right? Where they're like, chanting or whatever over the spice.
Oh, that's
stuff.
a good pick, but no. I was thinking when the Atreides hit the planet and the bagpipes kick in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, another good one.
Yeah. But first of all, the Atreides have bagpipes in the future.
They're like sort of space Scotland.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Okay.
But like also kind of not. They're also kind of like space Spain at the same time.
There is a lot of text in the book given to like the idea that all of these cultures are so far removed from Earth that like none of the old traditions or things that made sense on Earth apply or make sense anymore. So I guess it could be both.
Yeah.
They spend a bunch of time on like religion in the books, which they didn't really do a lot
No,
of
they
here
hardly did any.
at all.
A lot of time.
Did they
And
really?
like they
A
come,
lot of time.
yeah,
Do they give the
they
Bene
spend
Gesserit a lot of time, Michael?
They give them a fair amount of time. Like they go into a good bit of their history,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and there are constant mentions in the scenes with Lady Jessica of the preconditioning
Yep.
that has been put into place by uh, ancient generations of the Bene Gesserit
They
missionaries.
imply that she can choose what type of child to have. Is that true?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if that meant
That
like
is not just
she was.
that is not just a that's an important plot point in this movie, Andrew,
Well, I know-
because
Yes.
she chose differently than they told her to.
I know that it's an important plot point that she chose to have a son and she was supposed to have a daughter. My question was whether or not she could like mentally choose, or if it was like you're supposed to have made sure your sons didn't survive, kind of deal.
Yes.
Which,
No, it's a like she can think and make it happen.
yeah.
There's a bunch more plot points related to stuff like
Oh,
that coming up.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I remember part of that, but I couldn't remember how that worked. And that's fascinating. It's fascinating. Dune. Yeah, good movie. Maybe wait for part 2 at this point. 2025 or whenever. Michael, did you get up to any games this past weekend?
Did I play much in the way of games this
'Cause
weekend?
I know JJ and I played a game we should probably talk about a little bit, but
Yeah, I didn't really get up to too much. We were either doing the Thanksgiving food thing or off doing other things. So I wasn't home for a ton of the weekend besides
who's home
Thanksgiving
anymore,
Day.
right? Like you have the opportunity maybe to be out if you're safe about it.
Yeah. Well, especially, when it's Southern California and it's 80 degrees on Thanksgiving weekend,
Man.
you kind of want to be outside.
Yes. And by I mean that sincerely. Going outside safely. Like when we went to Sonoma, JJ, and we were outside.
Yep. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was beautiful. I can't believe how much wind there was though. That's crazy.
Yeah, we walked out of the apartment on Thursday morning. I dashed out to grab a paper for all the Black Friday sales ads and stopped short because a tree had gotten blown down across the only walkway that is in and out from where our front door is.
Oh my God.
Did you climb over it?
There was just enough space to sort of squeeze through some of the branches on one side of it. Thank goodness, because the grounds crew didn't make it to our corner until like 1 o'clock.
Okay, next time
12:30, 1 o'clock, middle of the
I
day.
own a chainsaw, just so you know.
You could, if he was trapped, how could he get to the
I
car?
was gonna say, yeah,
He has a phone.
yeah, but you were.
I know. I'm
slightly
saying
far away.
next time, I have
Yeah.
a chainsaw. Isn't that Ash's thing? I have a chainsaw. No, I have a boomstick.
A boomstick
Yeah.
is what he says.
I'm the one.
He
with
does
the gun.
have a chainsaw, though. You're correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Black Friday sales. Other than a graphics card, did we all complete our computer purchases this Black Friday / Cyber Monday? I know. I think that I am now
the
complete.
ones. Mine's not complete, but the ones that I intended to make, because they had some good deals, I
I
made.
guess this is a component class moment, huh? I don't know.
Can't escape them.
Well, not when we're thinking about doing builds. No. there were some pretty good deals out there during the thing. So I ended up rebuying and returning some old stuff that I had bought before the holiday in case stock ran out of anything. I don't know what this deal is with this shortages, what it might be, but I haven't run into many shortages when it comes to the stuff that I was hoping to find. I don't know if either of you ran into any shortages of anything.
By the time that I got to, so we have a micro center right around the corner.
Pretty one.
By the time that, yeah, it looks great on the inside now that they've done the renovation.
How big is that case, huh?
Oh, it's massive.
It's like, is this really just for CPUs? This is nuts. Because you look around the corner, JJ, and they cram all the SSDs and RAM and any other small motherboard component into one case, a third of the size, and then you go around the corner, it's just this massive wall of CPUs behind glass. It's pretty funny.
They know what brings people in.
I know. Yeah, it was funny.
Yep. But yeah, so they were sold out of several of the Ryzen CPUs.
That doesn't surprise me. The deals were
and a lot of the NVMe internal hard drives.
really wow.
They were pretty picked over.
There have been several good deals on those online today.
There are still good deals on those NVMEs out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The PCIe 4 ones are less good deals, but the PCIe 3
Oh, yeah.
ones can be gotten quite cheaply.
That 970
and,
Evo Plus, 1 terabyte, $120 right now.
that is probably more bandwidth than you need. Like, it's not like you're going to need that like PCIe 4 difference between those. It's like just the PCIe 3 one for the savings is worth it.
I agree with you. I chose to go PCIe 4 in this experimental version of a max out situation to try and live on this for a while, you know?
Yeah, I can't blame it. I just think that, for us, if your main application for it is gaming, we're probably not going to have issues.
Yeah, your throughput's
now,
fine.
obviously, Andrew, you have other considerations, work and or podcast related sometimes. And, Michael and I sometimes maybe have podcast related reasons we would want something a little bit more. But I think, it's not like we're uploading like hour-long videos typically.
Well, and I think that little bit more in your cases, if we're talking the Ryzen CPUs, is the 5800, right? A gaming CPU is a 5600. You don't need higher than that if you're not going to do content work at all.
Yeah. If you're not trying to do high refresh rate and you're sticking at 1080p, the 5600 is like way more than you need.
Or if you're going to try and stick around with your CPU a while and you don't want to get bottlenecked for another maybe 2 or 3 generations of graphics cards, maybe you got to go up from that lower tier. I don't know. Yeah. We got some component class emails. We'll do those next time. Because I also have, we'll do those next time. There's like 3 component class emails we've got. So when we got more time, we'll do that. But in the meantime, for our last 5 minutes here, JJ, how did you like that Halo?
Yo, it's Halo. No, it's pretty good. I played I don't know. I don't want to say quite a few. I played several rounds of the Halo Infinite multiplayer that's out now.
Yeah, it's free with Game Pass or free in general, I think, actually.
If free in general.
Oh.
Yep, you just go.
Yeah, free in general, yeah.
Yep, just download it and start playing.
So I have to ask you guys, because one of the comments that I saw about this was that its biggest point of praise was also its biggest weakness, which is that, hey, this is another Halo game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read the article you're talking about.
Yeah, in all of the good ways, but in all of the I've played this before ways.
But it also I've played this before ways. In that article, or at least the one that I read that was complaining about Halo Infinite's battle pass and progression. And I'll ask you about the progression right here, JJ. Did you notice that to progress you need to fill out those quests?
Yeah, the progression is crap.
Yeah. So
It's bad.
It's real bad in terms of its speed because there's no way to do it unless you want to go around getting kills with a pistol. Or
It's
or
terrible.
whatever the progression mission is that day.
And there's a separate progression which is not related to the main progression for like special events, for which there was one this weekend, which is what I spent most of my time playing.
What was the special event? Because I did not have access to my computer this weekend in particular.
It was like Slayer Fiesta,
Okay.
Team Slayer
Sure.
Fiesta, and Fiesta is a Halo mode where basically you spawn with random weapons every time. And it rotated a bunch of maps, but it's like a separate battle pass for that mode.
Oh, wow.
And one of the permanent challenges in that mode is play a game, and you get 50 XP. It takes like 600 XP to level up.
Yeah.
It's bad. And there are other challenges in there too, right? You get 200 if you get 15 kills with a battle rifle or whatever they are. They're all weird stuff. But like they're separate challenges from the normal ones.
I had this.
And you're leveling up different things.
This is where you have to chime in and remind.
You get like nothing worth it. It's like it's complete. The progression system is a total mess.
It's a mess.
But the game is fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy when I spawn sometimes with the rocket launcher and the sword, and I just get an immediate killing spree because the rocket launcher and the sword are ridiculously overpowered. And you just run around and like blow people up and sword them and blow another person up and then sword another guy. It's like a free killing spree. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think the big thing to say is that it's a beta and the progression carries over.
It's not a beta.
It is a beta.
It's not.
It is.
They say it is. It's
it
not.
is because
betas don't exist anymore.
Okay, well, this battle pass is going to be around a long time. And my guess is they will hear the complaints about the progression, right? And so
they've already said they've heard and they're planning to change it. One of the lead Halo devs was on Twitter yesterday or today or something saying, "Yeah, we've heard your complaints. This is going to be the first thing we work on when we get back in the office on Tuesday or whatever day it is." So
yeah,
they know.
Yeah, they know, and that's fine, right? The big, I think,
if your complaint is that the level up system is bad, then you don't have any complaints about the rest of the game, which I thought was mostly good.
I was trying to phrase this in a nice way, but I think I have to say it in a not nice way. The people complaining are often the people that are like, but I liked it when it was the old thing. But they can't complain about that because it is the old thing, but better, right? The gameplay is great. That I don't know if you tried the weapons mode where you just work on getting better with the weapons. The training?
I had to because I didn't know how half of the weapons worked. Yeah. There's a lot of weapons I've never used or seen in here before.
Yeah, like the VK and all those.
And the like weird transforming shotgun.
I really wish you had the opportunity to play Halo 5 because some of those are in there.
The weird shock rifle. The what is the other weird like grenade shock thing? Anyway, there's a bunch of weird guns in there that I'd never used before.
The gameplay is excellent. I don't think they're going to be changing super much about the gameplay unless there's bugs.
Yeah, I would rather they not. I will tell you, Andrew, if you're using a controller on the PC, go into the settings for the controller and adjust some of them. There are extensive settings related to like dead zone and axial things. Like go in and mess with all those settings because I can tell you the game felt really weird to me. Until I was looking online, I was like, is my controller bad? Am I drifting? What's going on? Stuff is just not working right. And like, I went on some post on the internet and people were like, look, these controller settings are kind of jank. Go in there and change them to these. I bet you it feels better. And I did. And it did. So, you know, the default ones it comes with are not good.
Have you seen if they have match controller / keyboard matchmaking pools?
I don't know.
That's something I have yet to see anyone describe whether or not they've separated the pools so that if I did play a controller, I'm not going to try and outplay a KBM player, you know?
I don't know. I know that the pools are mixed for PC and console, and a bunch of the console people are very unhappy about it because guess what? There are already people cheating on PC.
No kidding.
So The console people are like, let us kick all the PC players out. We don't want the cheaters. It's like, well, what if they just make it so no one can cheat?
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
that is one of the benefits, right, of a console, is that people can't cheat and still get into the game.
Or it's much harder anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get something like a Cronus or something like that, right, to cheat outside of the system.
Yeah. So I don't know I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I didn't see any options for like excluding certain
No, usually it's done in the
control
background
types or
so,
anything like
you know,
that.
I don't
So,
know. I think so. What I was trying to say is, I think it's the people that
I mean, it may be
that
happening. I can't tell.
I think it was the people that were hoping to complain about the gameplay, and the only thing left to complain about was like, but my guy doesn't look cool, and I can't make him look cool fast.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It takes a long time to earn literally anything
It's
in
like,
this
who
game.
cares, man? Play the game or don't play the game. That's the point of the game, right? And my guess is, if you buy that campaign, you're gonna earn progression through the campaign as well, because they're gonna want people to buy it, right? That would be my guess. So, anywho, we don't have time to my Xbox thoughts on this one, but I think I need to put out one thought here before we go, which is that since we were talking about Halo, that Game Pass service, you guys, is $1 for 3 months right now.
That's a low number of
It's not
dollars.
bad.
So, like, if you don't believe me that it might be a good deal, go try out the service for 3 months for $1. It's just like, how many months would it take if you want to play that Back for Blood game that's coming out, which is what, $50 maybe? How many months of that would you pay for with Game Pass? It's going to be on their first day. You know what I mean? If you want to play Halo for free instead of paying $60 for it, well, there's, you know, how many months of Game Pass right there? 10 months? No, sorry, 6 months. 6 months.
I think my only complaint about it would be that if I want my progression to be synchronized with where I have it currently on Steam, it won't do that. And that's like a tiny, insignificant complaint that doesn't matter.
What progression doesn't carry over? Just your achievements?
Yeah, all the achievements and like my controller settings and stuff I would have to redo because it's a different version
I
of the
think
game.
you can
right?
drop in
the stuff I earn on Steam will go over to the Microsoft one, right? It'll go that way, but it won't go back.
Right, sure. Yes. That's true.
Because you do sign into your Microsoft account.
I don't know what
when
you're
you
supposed to do about that
log
in
into that
this
thing.
world of fractured. Everyone's going to put out their own games.
You can't see me, but I'm out here shrugging my
There's
shoulders.
really not much to do about that kind of thing. I just can't.
For the cost, I guess, you know, that's the trade-off you get for playing a $60 campaign for the cost of $1.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You want to go play Halo in the next 3 months and you only want to play the campaign, pay $1. And I really wish this didn't sound like an ad, but like when we talk about how to build a computer for cheaper so that you're not going nuts if you're just trying to build a gaming PC and spending too much money or buying games on sale. This is buying games on sale is what you're doing. Just make sure to cancel it if you don't like it.
Let me go ahead and tell you, I can be very sure that you will not need 3 months to finish the campaign in that game. I don't care what the campaign is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Won't
some
be
sort of
that long.
open-ended Skyrim procedural quest thing to try and keep people playing.
Probably.
But I'm sure you can get through the story in normal Halo speeds. All right, before we go, wrong answers only until people are knocked out. Are you ready? Who plays
Michael's just
Christian Grey in 50 Shades of Grey?
Steve Buscemi.
Liam Hemsworth.
I'm just thinking of like I can only think of Star Wars characters for some reason. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nice. No, that would be not. That's not an actor because there's 2 Obi-Wan Kenobis. You gotta pick an actor.
I don't. What's the guy's name? Shoot, the young
Ewan
one.
McGregor.
He's
not on. None of them were on the list. Congratulations. The 2015 Creed is a spin-off of what successful movie series? It's hard to come up with movie series that I.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Yeah, sure, maybe. The Crow.
That kind of okay. I could believe it. Really tough to do that after Brandon Lee,
Didn't they
though,
make
man.
multiple
But
Crow movies after that? I'm pretty sure The Crow is a
they've
series.
made more, yeah. They've made more,
Yeah.
but I don't think any of them were
Fine, I
good.
changed my answer to Sharknado.
And I'll take Fast and Furious.
None of them were on the list. Okay. If nobody gets knocked out, the next one we're all winners. So nobody mess up. All right. I want to all be winners. Oh no, we might actually get this one wrong. The Force Awakens is set how many years after Return of the Jedi? You have to guess less than 100 because there are characters in it, so we can't be crazy. So I'll go 90.
3.14.
Say what?
42.
40? Okay, so 42. What was JJ?
3.14.
40's on here, but you said 42, so I'm going to take that. And we are all safe. We're all winners of wrong answers only this week.
Nice.
Well done.
Okay. Oh, if you want to send in questions for wrong answers only, JJ.
You can send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. We are also contactable via social media. Find us at We Were Gamers on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I imagine there will be some Instagram posts going up of computer builds from Andrew or perhaps myself sooner or later.
Yeah, one would hope.
So look out for those. Also, follow us on the various podcasting platforms that are out there. We're on Google and Apple and Spotify and Stitcher and all that good stuff.
There are 4 Crow movies.
So Matrix 4, y'all?
Is that soon? Is it ready?
Coming. Yep.
December.
Dude, I can't keep up. Wheel
There's way too much.
of Time. Let's do the list real quick before JJ has to go. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to write it down. Ready? Wheel of Time. Cowboy Bebop. Revelation
Hawkeye.
2. Hawkeye. Nobody cares, but there's a new season of Always Sunny.
The new Witcher.
Oh, yeah,
coming
that's
out.
right. Witcher. Matrix 4.
Matrix 4.
Didn't you guys say the new Discovery started?
Disco already
Yep,
started.
New
Yep.
Discovery.
Disco just started. This is insane. I can't watch this much TV. And we're not even done with the list, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I feel like there were more things that we mentioned.
And sadly, I won't be on a lot of podcasts during December. So
Yeah, let's group chat about what you want to do